yes, yes. Here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Monday evening, 8 o'clock, our new time. Well, I hope you had a good day. I did. Let's all say hello. Hello, Amnan.
Hello, Gisela. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I had a trying weekend. I was taking care of a client who had to go to the hospital and have a neck surgery. And, it always pains me as much as my clients. It's just really it's awful to have to go through a surgery. But anyway, I'm here, got a nice show prepared. And listen, folks, I want you to participate. Go into the chat room, ask me questions. Without you asking questions, I don't know what you like, what you don't like. I know we have had some great ratings on the show. I appreciate that. I appreciate all input. So does Amnan. We are here for you. And if we get feedback, we are as happy as we can be. Right, Amnan?
Absolutely.
All right. Yes. And I hope you guys like my new camera that I look better on your screen, because I was watching one of the shows and I said, "Oh my God, goodness, I don't really like that light. I don't like the camera." So I splurged for a new camera.
Very
Amnan,
nice.
what
Very nice.
looks right?
Yep.
It's HD and
Yep.
it's really nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So, guys, here's the thing. Now, last week, we know it was an awful week, right? With all of this health scare debacle, all of these problems in Washington. I mean, I don't know. Why can't they get it together? They really should have a woman in there. She would have done this already, somehow pulled it together as women usually do. They pull the rabbit out of the hat, even if there's no rabbit. But, you know, I guess it's more difficult, and Trump is finding that out, that it is more difficult than thought of. Well, that's why we have homeopathy. So even if you don't have insurance, do think that you can have some relief and that you can have some health issues resolved with homeopathy. Contact me if you don't know a homeopathist in your area. If you're in the Northeast, I do telephone consultations, and just send me an email, my life dash my will, and Gisela, I am there for you and I will answer your questions. And if I can answer a question right offhand, there will be no charge. If I have to take a case, that means I write it down. I will have to get all of the particulars. Then I will charge a small amount, but it's always affordable, I assure you. Now, one of the things that I heard, because there was so much about health insurance and so on in the news, and I always comb the news of seeing what could interest my audience. And I read something that really sort of grabbed me, a person was in one of these exchanges. Now, these exchanges, these insurance in exchanges. It's just another word for health insurance advantage plan or health insurance that is group. That means you're in a group, you pay a little bit less It's like an HMO or like a PPO or whatever, it's a group that goes. And here is the thing. I think I've said it before and I will say it again. Please, if you cannot afford anything else, well, that's better than nothing. However, your doctor in many of these HMOs or PPOs gets paid regardless if you show up and present yourself to the doctor. That means every month when you signed up with this doctor in this group, he gets paid for you. A small amount, but he has a couple hundred. It makes quite a bit of money. So when you do get sick and you need maybe, or you want a referral, what do you think? He's going to be very enthusiastic of referring you? I don't know. Depends on the doctor. But here's what happened to a guy and it was in one of our local papers. Person is in an HMO, and you can only, as you know, in one of these health insurance group situations, you can only go to a hospital or doctor that is signed up in that same group. So when he went traveling, he asked his insurance and said, if something happens to me, where can I go? Oh, you just give us a call and we tell you which hospital is a participating hospital in the area that you are in. He said, well, good deal. Super. Hope naturally nothing happened. Unfortunately, something did. He did have to go to the hospital, called his insurance and said, which hospital? There's a hospital near me. Is that in my group? Can I go to that hospital? The answer was, of course, sure, go ahead. He went and he got treated. And after about 2 months, he got a very hefty bill, $1,600. And he said, what? I went to the group hospital. It should have been covered in my insurance. These hospitals contract doctors that are not necessarily in the group, and they can bill individually. Not a good thing, right? And I think that's what the whole debacle is about. It is all so convoluted and A, not very well explained, B, not very well managed. And we really need to have a health care, insurance for all of America that is easily done. I mean, can't be that difficult, but obviously it is. So here's the thing. When you do travel and you have one of these insurance, so when you have to go to a hospital in an area that is not your home area, but even in your home area, always ask, is the doctor that is going to attend to me in the plan? Now, if it's an emergency and you're lying there bleeding, very likely you're not going to ask. Very likely that's not going to be your concern. Your concern is, can he stitch me up? But if you can, or if you have somebody with you, make them alert and ask them and say, because you will be liable for a hefty bill afterwards if you happen to be in a hospital that contracts non uh, plan doctors into it. And many of the hospitals have to because they don't get enough doctors to work, especially if you have to go at night. So be aware of that, okay, guys? Another thing that's constantly in the news right now is CBD oil. CBD oil, as you know, I don't know if you've been listening, those that have been listening for a long time, hopefully you will stayed with us through our time change. But CBD oil is one of the most wonderful things right there, up there with aspirin. Um, CBD oil now, there was a study done by John Hopkins. 4,700 people were in the study, and they gave, as always, the study had some with placebo, some with CBD oil, and some with some other product. The one with the CBD oil takers, they had a 20 to 30% reduction in their BMI. That means in their body mass index. That means they lost fat. Not having changed anything else, but taking the CBD oil that was given to them in the study. I went like, yay! That's what we want. We want to lose a couple of pounds. And we really don't want to lose the pounds that we don't want to lose. We just want to lose an overall little of the fat layer. Well, CBD oil can do that. And you can really virtually buy it on the internet now everywhere. It's exploding. It's all over the place, as homeopathy is. I mean, within the last year, homeopathy is all over the internet, and which is a good thing, right? Because homeopathy does work. So if you are so inclined, and CBD oil works especially for people that are in severe pain, bone pain, neck pain, joint pain, migraines. CBD oil works. What you can use it for is diabetes. They have found that with CBD oil, now I did not get in that what I read. They did not report what percentage of CBD oil was used, but I have used in my clinic, I have used CBD oil, and it was between 20 and 30% CBD oil, whereby the THC was almost negligible. I mean, it was not there really. You don't really get a high from this, okay, guys? Anybody who thinks, oh wow, yeah, whoa, now party time. No, no, no. CBD oil doesn't do that, but it works for pain. Now we know body mass index, and now we do know that also people who are using it continuously is that it helps to reduce glucose levels. And I think that's why the body mass index was also lowered, because it does lower glucose levels, because it does, when you use CBD oil, sometimes you get quite hungry too, just like if you smoke a joint, you know. But if you do not give in to that, that means that if you drink some water or you have a glass of milk instead of having a cookie or a piece of chocolate or whatever, you'll be much better off. And it's not quite as severe as if you smoke marijuana. One of the things that I've always found smoking marijuana, that you have this craving for food and sweets, especially sweets, because your glucose level goes down. It suppresses it. So the body wants to compensate. So then you want to have more sweets. Anybody who has been there knows that. Not a good side effect, in my opinion, okay? Because I don't really like to weigh 300 pounds, so, and you can easily do that with that. So there, CBD oil is, again, and they're finding out more and more every day. Every day they're finding out more. I hope that our government considers this and says, well, now there's a way of keeping our population a little healthier, and homeopathy is definitely one. Homeopathy is, as I have said before, it is a way of treating ourselves where we restore the balance in our body. And when our body is out of balance, we are sick or we don't feel well. And homeopathy can do that in many ways. Do we have anybody in the chat room, or do we have any questions, Amnon?
Not yet.
Not yet. Come on, guys. Ask me. Ask me. Now, by the way, one of the things I do want to talk about also is how to keep yourself young and healthy. Well, healthy we know, right? Homeopathy, CBD oil, little exercise, good food, good friends, all that. And also a glass of wine in the evening. I drink a glass of wine in the evening, most evenings, not the bottle, but one glass. Helps me sleep. And it is, we know that it has a health benefit. And before I go into our remedy for the evening, it's several remedies, but I want to tell you just of how to use remedies. I was, a week ago, I went to an update of my knowledge to my old college, and I decided that I was going to go for the postgraduate course. And so I will be bringing you even more and different remedies over the next year or so. But what I have learned, I've always used I mean, I've been doing this, what for 10, 15 years? 15 years probably, maybe a little longer. I don't know. I stopped counting after a couple of years. And I've always used like half a capful. We have these little poppy seeds thing, and the remedy vial looks about like this, right? They are little tiny poppy seed globules in there. Well, I would use like quarter of a capful or a little bit more. And it was always said I was always out of remedies, It was always said, oh my God, I have to order remedies again. Well, I went to my school, and there we were naturally talking about remedies, and our teacher said, well, and then you prepare the remedy with one globule. So here's what she did. She took one of these little things, okay, then she put it into a glass of water like this, put it in there, stirred the whole thing, succussed it, and gave it a teaspoonful. And I said, well, is that enough? Oh, yeah, that's enough. Well, you know, I'm one of those people, I always have to check. I don't know about you, but I always check everything. You know, everything that anybody says to me, I always say, let me research that. Let me see if that is true. Well, lo and behold, yes, it is true. Hahnemann said it, the inventor of homeopathy, and many other big homeopathists, they all one or two of these little globules, not a half a capful. So I was very elated and said, whoa, I'm going to really save a little money. So if your homeopath gives you one of these vials, that can literally last you for a lifetime. You don't hardly ever have to replace that. Isn't that great, Amnan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, guys. Well, cheers. Here goes my wine. Well, the next thing I'm going to talk about is something that is not terribly people don't usually talk about it. But since so many people have it, I thought I'll address it. And it has the concern is hemorrhoids. You know, hemorrhoids, it seems like most everybody has them. And it starts really at a certain age. When you're young, you don't. Everything is still intact. You know what hemorrhoids are, right? They are in the lower portion of the rectum, and they can be protruding quite a bit. I mean, they can be like grapes almost. Okay, it's just really, and they can be quite painful, and almost really they are a health issue, because if they are that big externally, they can get infected by just wearing and sitting, and if they bleed a little bit, there's an opening, and then you go and you have a bowel movement, and then they can get infected. Not a good idea to have not taken care of external piles. They're also called piles. Now, we also have internal ones. Now, those are just, that it's just as bad, because if you do have some constipation, and there may be a bleeding, they can also get infected. Now, how do we get this? Well, one of the reasons that we do get hemorrhoids is because of a lack of fiber. We don't have enough fiber in our diet to make our colon so that it can really excavate the bowels in a smooth way. Most people, I would say, 60 to 70% of all population is constipated. There are many causes for constipation. One is lack of fiber, another one is stress, Women can get hemorrhoids through childbearing because the pressing of giving birth to a child can cause it. Um, liver disease can cause piles, and overweight. If you are severely overweight, you can. Now they have found among the LBG community that they have found more rectal cancer, and that is with anal intercourse. Now, you know, many, a doctor will tell you, uh, that the only remedy is that you have them surgically, and what they do is they burn these. It could be quite painful, but apparently it does work for some time. But that's just removing the the symptom. That's not removing the cause. And as you know, homeopathy removes the cause. We don't we don't want to have the cause. The cause is very likely one presses too hard to excavate the bowels. And that can cause these piles. Now, they can be quite painful. Anybody who has them, you know, they know. There are a few products on the market that help with the burning, the itching, the effects of that. But that's only very, very temporary. Now, homeopathy has a few. They have about 15 remedies that are corresponding to hemorrhoids, but I will just give you the top 5, okay? And the top 5, and the first one is hamamelis. Hamamelis is made from witch hazel, and it's one of the best remedies for piles, because especially bleeding ones, and especially when you're at the same time that you're excavating, you also have some bright red blood. That does not mean that you're going to be dying any second, but it does mean that you should take care of it. And hamamelis is a very good remedy. Now, hamamelis works also on varicose veins. And if you have a, you know, for instance, a problem with your veins, that you have some stagnation, hamamelis works. It's a great research. It's a great remedy for that. Now, the other one is aloe. Aloe, the remedy aloe. And aloe is one of the most useful remedies for piles. It indicates where the piles are protruding like a bunch of grapes, bleeding often profusely, and are greatly relieved by the application of cold water. There's very marked burning in the anus. The bowels feel like a scrape, and the tendency to diarrhea is often. Aloe is also used for if there is a lot of constipation. The remedy aloe. Now, the other remedy that works really well is capsium. If there's a lot of bleeding, and I had a client in the past who every time that he went to the bathroom, the toilet bowl was full of blood. And he was very worried about that. And so what I gave him was capsium, because capsium, whenever there is bleeding and a little bit of inflammation, capsium works. It's made from hot pepper. It's the essence of hot pepper. So and especially when there's a lot of mucus in all of that. Okay, capsium works well. Now, if you are suffering from that, then Nux vomica for constipation, Nux vomica works brilliantly. Nux vomica, as you know, also if you drink a little bit of the grape juice, right? You feel a little ill, you have a little, or you ate something that didn't agree with you. Nux vomica. Nux vomica is one of those polycrest remedies that works in a multitude of ways. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I use Nux vomica a lot. Um, but now much less because I only use one little pill, right? Yeah. And especially when Nux vomica is indicated, if you wake up in the middle of your night, in the night, and you have to go and it's itching and burning, use a dose of Nux vomica. It really does work. Now, what else do we have here? Oh, the other one is also arsenicum album. And that is really when there is a lot of pain, burning, soreness, and there's that constriction, that pain that is almost shooting, um, arsenicum album, and all of these, whenever you use that, use it in the potency of 30C. 30C is a very good potency to use for self-help, and I use it predominantly. And um, most of the homeopaths that are working on a continuous basis every day use 30C remedies, and it works well. It really works well. At one point, I might tell you about when to use a different potency. Okay. Now, silicea is also one of the remedies that works well for that. And that is really when the piles are intensely burning and you really cannot really defecate. You cannot, it's just not happening. And rather than sitting and pressing more and really getting yourself into a problem, try to use a dose of silicea, use it for a couple of days, and you usually it remedies itself if you use then silicea. It's a problem many people have, and especially constipation. Constipation, I mean, that's why we have such a huge market. I mean, if you go into the drugstore and you look down the line, there's a huge, I mean, there must be 20, 30, 40 medicines for constipation because so many people have it. Now, eat more fiber and drink water. If you don't drink enough water, it's not going to happen. You need to drink. We need to drink water. Now, the 8 glasses of water that they say, or the 8-ounce bottles of water, I don't drink that because I'm not that thirsty. And if I'm not thirsty, I will not drink. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one like that. But you need to drink at least as much as what I make myself do is I drink one large glass like this, in the morning, right when I wake up. And I drink it warm. I make some warm water or hot water. And then I try to drink about 11, 12 o'clock, another glass like that. And then about 2, 3 o'clock, another glass like that. And in the evening, just when I've gone to bed and I have it on my bedside, I drink another, even if I don't finish it, sometimes in the middle of the night, if I do get up with my dogs, I finish it. So that to me, that's enough. That keeps me, hydrated. That keeps my body really nicely moving. And especially if we have some seniors listening, uh, make your, if you don't make a little structure like that. If you don't say, okay, at 8 o'clock I do this, and at 11 o'clock I do that. If you don't do that, it's not going to happen, especially when you get a little older, because A, you forget, B, you're not thirsty, so you don't want to drink. So then, you know, before you know it, all of a sudden, there's a day or two or three that you haven't gone. And that is not healthy. That is definitely not healthy. And it will age you faster than anything else. So you have to keep on top of that. If I can give anybody any advice, you have to stay on top of that. Now, one of the other one is magnesium citrate. If you already have a problem, magnesium citrate, it comes in a bottle like this. It's white, tastes very sweet, not terribly pleasant. I don't like the taste, although some other people say it tastes good to them, not to me. So I try to avoid it. I rather drink the water. But it works. If you have a problem, you've been backed up, it hasn't been working, you haven't been eliminating, have well, it tells you on the bottle, about a shot glass full in the evening before you go to bed. By morning, you should have no problems of eliminating. So that's what I have to, after this week, I thought it was appropriate to talk about that. Because I was just laughing about this week. I thought it was just all just too out of the realm of anything comprehensible that was sane. It was all a little bit too insane for me. So there we go. Do we have anybody? Nobody questioned. Nobody said anything. Oh, yes. Did anybody? Amnon?
No.
Amnon? Amnon went to
Yes.
sleep.
No. I'm saying nobody said anything.
Hello, Amnon.
You can't hear me.
Now I can hear you.
Uh-huh.
Well, I had it turned down because I had some echo in there, so I had it turned down. Now I can hear you. Now, did anybody
No.
say anything?
Nope.
Nobody. All right. Now, listen, guys, this is an interactive show. We do want you to participate. It's easy to type it into the chat room. It's easy to say, Gisela, I have this problem. No, I don't agree with you. Yes, I do. Or bring me something that you have heard, that news about how to stay healthy, how to stay well. Oh, by the way, I have to tell you something about, I don't know if I said that the last time, um, but I have to tell you something about eggs. Now they have made a study of some, for a long time, everybody was talking about, oh, you can't eat eggs because the high cholesterol, right? Everybody had to eat egg whites. Well, guess what? Now they have a study out. Some, I don't know how many people participated, but they fed people for 3 weeks. They first measured cholesterol. Then they fed people 3 weeks, 3 eggs a day for 3 weeks. Then they measured the cholesterol again. And guess what? Cholesterol was lowered. Now that tells you something, no? I swear by eggs. I eat my eggs every day. The lysine keeps my brain moving, at least, that I can live with it and that other people don't think I'm a babbling idiot. And, I mean, it is lysine in the eggs and not only lysine, lecithin, lot of lecithin. And here's the thing, guys, don't eat the store-bought eggs if you can help it. If you can help it, go to your neighborhood, somebody who has eggs, ask them if they will sell the eggs, because they're usually much better. I ate over the weekend, I ate an egg from a so-called organic farm, feeding only organic. Well, I took one bite of that egg and I said, oh, I didn't finish it. It was just not tasting like an egg should taste. So do yourself a favor. Go, if you live in a city, make a weekend trip to the farmer outside. Go, my husband and I, when we used to live in New York City, we would go and we would make these foraging trips. We would go to the farmer markets. We would find out who sells eggs. We would find out who sells honey, who had, usually small ones, not the big farms, small ones who would sell some things on the roadside or so on. And then we would go back to the city and enjoy it all and be proud of ourselves, and usually had a good day too, So try doing that. Now that spring is coming, we've been already enjoying the California strawberries. They are now coming to the east and they are very delicious. The other day we had asparagus, fresh asparagus, the thick ones. Very, very good for kidneys. Very good for kidneys. So enjoy those things now, because they're coming now. Winter is almost over. We can now almost feel it, and it's all good. And with that, I'm out of time. I'm going to say good night. Have a very good night. Enjoy a glass of wine. And I see you next Monday. And if you enjoyed the show, give us a rating and tell your friends. The Gisela Show on Monday evening, 8 o'clock. Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.